In today's video, we're going to talk about some solutions if you have an issue with having bad credit. We're going to talk about the different things or the different solutions that might be available to you, because I know that if you're living with bad credit, it can give you the feeling that, that your life is crashing in on you. You can't move forward. It's like you could feel powerless. You could feel like, why even try? Like, why even try to do anything about this? Because it's just going to be the same anyway. And I'm here to tell you that I've been through having bad credit before, and I was able to rebuild my credit. And in a sense, when you rebuild your credit, it's like rebuilding your life. It makes you feel good about yourself. It gives you back that power. It allows you to see the world in a different way because you feel like have a more positive outlook, because you can see the opportunities that are available to you by simply having your credit repaired, by having good credit. They don't call it bad credit just to call it bad credit. Bad credit is just like the seed that could be planted. And if you don't do anything about that bad credit, it will branch out into so many things that can affect your life that you will feel like powerless in a way. You will feel like your money is being drained. You will feel like there's just nothing that you can do. And I understand that a lot of people have that feeling, and they have that feeling, and you might have it and I'm going to turn my computer down here. You might have that feeling on the inside too, because when you're looking at solutions on stuff that you've never done before, you're going to have a feeling inside that's going to make you either get very tired, or it's going to be like a puzzle that you just threw on the floor, and it's not going to make any sense to you. And it really won't make any sense to you until you have either gotten deep into the solution on what you got to do, like you got to just follow the trail, or when the solution comes, when you win. Because I've had clients from both directions. I did a video earlier in the week. We had a client, he just blew up on us. He had to go to court, and when we looked at his documents, the court case was dismissed by the plaintiff attorney, by the debt collection company. Over $5,000 worth of debt, non-existence, and the judgment was reversed. He had actually had a default judgment against him. And it is very hard to win. Now, you can get a default judgment reopened. You can, if you know how to file your motion, you can get it reopened. Mostly any judge would do that. But the difference is can you win your case if you get it reopened? And with this client, he was very upset because he had just followed us and just said, here, we told him, file this paperwork and let the chips fall where they may. And he was very upset the day, he was like 1 or 2 days out from court. He had received a document from the court and from the plaintiff attorney, and we were like, let us look at the document. But he had just blew up. And when we looked at the document, it said, motion to dismiss the case by the plaintiff. So think about that. If the judge dismisses the case, it could be brought back up. They could say, well, technicality, whatever. The plaintiff could choose to bring it back up. But if the plaintiff dismisses the case, it's more than likely, it's like, they're like, we can't win this case. That's the reasoning behind it. And so some of the times when you're looking at stuff, you will feel, I'm just telling you up front, you're going to probably feel like something won't work. You're going to have these feelings of just wanting to just stay in your comfort zone of having bad credit, in your comfort zone of not doing anything, in your comfort zone of getting court summons like the one I got in my hand for a client, and just not doing anything about it and letting them do everything to you and just suffering the consequences of having garnishments and liens and having your bank account frozen, like just accepting that. And the only reason why you accept it is because you're frozen and not in the mindset of trying to do something to either help yourself or to get with someone who can actually help you. And that's why I make my videos. And it's not about you becoming a client. You can watch my videos and try to figure it out yourself, or you could take the short route and allow us to help you. That is your choice. That is your choice. So one of the things that I would ask you to think about, and we're going to be talking about collections, we're going to be talking about lawsuits, we're going to talk about garnishments, because I've had tons, probably about 200-300 comments and 100 live chats about the same three things. Same three things. The collections, lawsuits, and garnishments bring a lot of pain to you and your family and to your bank account. And so you don't want to be sitting there suffering with having collections, lawsuits, and judgments or garnishments. You don't want to have that type of stuff happening to you without being proactive. But let me ask you this question, because this is something that's very important that will allow you to at least have some type of inner power, because it has to come from you, some type of inner power to be able to follow through and do what's going to be necessary to get things done. If I was to ask you this question, why is it even important for you to have good credit? Like, what is your reason? It's more than just a number. It's got to be more than just a number. Don't sit here and tell me it's about some number, about having some high number. That's part of it. But there's got to be something else that you care about that is the big reason why you need to get this stuff taken care of. Get your credit taken care of. Get yourself out of debt. Have some type of resolution if you got garnishments and lawsuits. There's got to be some type of reason. Part of that is so you can get back to normal. Part of it is so you can get back to normal, so you can sleep at night, so you don't wake up in the middle of the night, or you don't wake up in the morning and you done had all of this stuff just playing around in your subconscious mind, and you wake up, you're in a bad mood, you got to go to work, you got to pretend for your family, all of that stuff. There's got to be more to it, and that was part of it. You don't want to be pretending. You want to be able to sleep well at night. You want to be able to get the things that you deserve so you can move your life forward. Don't let every day that goes by for all of us, if we don't make the most of it, it is gone. And if you're sitting here suffering with bad credit, you have lawsuits from debt collectors sending you court summons, and you're scrambling around for some type of fake pipe dream type thing that someone done said to you about not doing anything about it, or you got garnishments and you are like, I don't know what to do, I don't even know what options that I can take. You have default judgments. I understand you want to get your life back to normal. I understand you don't want to have these worries running through your mind, but you got to do something about it. And I'm not here preaching to you like I'm some perfect person who has never went through something like this. You know my story. I had $300,000 in debt. It took me from 1994 to 1999 to get that whole situation, number one, under control, and learn the lessons that I didn't never want to go back that way, because it would have destroyed my family. And until you make that decision, and it is not going to be clear, you're going to make a decision to repair your credit, deal with these debt collection lawsuits, deal with collectors, deal with garnishment. You're going to make that decision, and it's going to be like it's a cloud right in front of your eyes. And that reason why it looks like a cloud is because you don't know what the hell to do about it. But just because you don't know what to do about it does not mean that there is not a solution. And the way that you understand if there could be real solutions for you is you got to get with people who can demonstrate it for you. There's a lot of fake stuff that's out there. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things out there. There is a lot, and I understand. And the internet and YouTube and all that stuff wasn't around when I was going through my stuff in the 1990s. So I get it. The information, I didn't have that type of information overload like you might have. So to make it like a straight arrow, we have an arrow. We have a line from where you're at now to get to a solution without all this stuff. Is that you got to get with people who can demonstrate, not just say, not just yak, this, that, all that fake stuff. No, somebody who can demonstrate that what they tell you, it has a high probability of success for your situation. And someone who will tell you the real, not sugarcoated. Ask you questions like this. How are you feeling about your situation? Because based off of how you're feeling with your situation is going to put some sort of limits on the options that are available to you. Let me give you an example so we can get right into it. If you're dealing with collections and you're feeling of the mindset of, I don't want to have I want to get this stuff over with. I want to get it over with. Even if it's a debt collector who bought your debt, there are some people who feel like, I just want to get this over with. What is the quickest way for me to get this over with? The quickest way to get it over with is to contact that debt collection company and work out a deal to get it resolved so it doesn't move forward into you getting sued. Because regardless if you owe the debt or not, you do your proper validation, all of that, they could still choose to try to just roll the dice and take you to court. So if you feel like you don't even want to go through that fight, then you need to get into the mindset of dealing with it now. Before it gets to that, work out something. And then that gets into the next thing. The next question that you got to ask yourself is, what about your resources? Be honest about your resources. Because if you have the resources, get it dealt with so you can move forward to get back to that comfort zone so you don't have to worry about sleeping at night or not being able to sleep at night. It is really that simple. Now, the way that you get to the solutions is going to be different based on your specific situation. And we are here to look at your specific situation, but I want to give you some of the surface things that you got to watch out for and some of the surface solutions to help you get there, to get to the quickest resolution for your specific situation. If it's something that you're just not sure about, you can always go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, and we will tell you the real. We'll tell you how we can help or how you can help yourself. So if you're dealing with collections, the first thing you got to do is when you get that collection letter is you need to review that collection letter to make sure that they didn't break any rules. So now the next question you have is, Steve, what is breaking the rules when it comes to a debt collection letter? Number one, the first rule is that they cannot send that debt collection letter from a third party mailing service. It must come from them. They're not allowed to share your personal private data to unauthorized third parties. How can you tell if it was an unauthorized third party? You can do what's called on the letter. I don't have a letter right here out of all the things not to have the. Oh, here we go. So here's a letter I got. This is one from a debt collection attorney that we sent the debt validation to. This right here, they're going to have their return address, but right here on this postage part, you can't really see it right there. Maybe I can get it. The background is screwing this up on here. Let me put it right there. You see that little red area, or it looks a little bit pink. You can actually trace that. This one here is from Pitney Bowes. You can actually trace it. Each one of these has a tracer on it, and you'll be able to see who sent that letter, and you can see if it was from an unauthorized third party. If it's from an unauthorized third party, you can simply send the debt collection company a letter, certified letter, telling them that you know that they sent that information on that debt collection letter, that dunning letter, which is not even really a collection letter, it just looks like it, that they sent that to you through an unauthorized third party, and you want them to cease all collection activities. And you can take a photocopy of the front part of the envelope with your proof, and what you can do is trace it on the internet through that code, and you can see where that mailing address came from. And if it's not registered to that debt collection company, they will stop coming after you. Next thing that you want to do on there, and I just got some fresh debt collection letters for a client, is that you want to, and where's my notes and stuff are all over the place. You want to look at that debt collection letter when you open it up, and it has to have the original creditor, has to have information that they purchased the debt or that they've been assigned the debt. That wording in there, and it has to give you a right to dispute any, all, or part of the debt. And the fonts have to be the same size throughout the letter. It will look like it is a collection letter, but it is really called a dunning letter. This is a notification letter saying that they're attempting to connect with you about the debt, and you have 30 days to respond to that, or sometimes 45 days. And they will even tell you how you can dispute it. I always say you need to dispute that directly with them. And when you do that, they must put it on your credit reports that you are disputing that debt. They have to put that notation on there. And there's going to be a 90-day grace period where everything is just, nothing is going to be done until they get you that debt validation. Once they do that, grace period is down, and they can try to move forward. If you don't get that, if you don't respond to that letter, you are actually saying yes. So repeat after me. If I don't respond to the debt collection letter, I'm actually saying yes. What are you saying yes to? That the debt is yours. Even if the debt does not belong to you, you are a victim of ID theft, that you are actually saying yes to the debt, and they can put that information on your credit reports. And then you just open up a whole new can of worms. Just like I said earlier, depending on your feelings, do you want to go through that fight or not go through that fight? If you don't want to go through that fight, you need to be proactive about it. And I'm going to give you a letter, don't worry, that'll allow you to be proactive on there. So now let's move over to lawsuits. If you receive a court summons, don't sit there and look at that thing as if it's going to go away. If they are trying to serve you with a court summons or citation, don't just think that they're not going to do anything just because they can't serve you. The laws are loosening up. In most states, all they have to do is prove service. And let me tell you what happened when they do the proof of service. They're just saying we attempted to serve this individual. They would not allow the service. If you are there and you don't accept the documents, that is proof of service. What they'll do is they'll publish your name all over the internet, and if you still live in an area where they have a daily or weekly publication, they're going to put your name in there in the public notices, and then that's going to be all they have to do. And then they're going to proceed with the case. And number one thing that you got to do, regardless if it's a debt collector or the original creditor, is that you got to respond to the court summons. And you have to respond to that court summons in a way that can get them to open their eyes and say, this is not the same. Just like how you have that clouded feeling when you're going to attempt to do something to help yourself, but you don't know, if it's going to work. You don't even know how it's going to look, all of these types of things. And it's just simply because you've never done it before. They have that same feeling because they're not used to people fighting back. The way that we help our clients fight back, they're not used to that, because what you're actually doing is you're making them fight back against their own documentation, their own words. Think about it. If you are in an argument with someone and they say things to you and you say back to them, okay, this is what you said, prove it. they're expecting you to try to go off on some other trail, which is what people tell you to do on these other videos. They're expecting you to go all over the place because they instead of focusing on what they said, what they provided. If what they said and what they provided cannot be proven, you are already 90% potentially going to win your case. Because what are they going to say? Oh, we didn't mean to say that. Oh, we didn't mean to put that document in there. Oh, we didn't mean to make that assertion or put that affidavit that way. We didn't mean to do that. They can't do that. That's why we get these not default judgments. That's why we help our clients get these cases dismissed. Even with original creditors, we didn't even used to go at it with original creditors. We used to just tell people, hey, let's just go ahead and jump into doing a settlement. Even with original creditors, the attorney that is representing the original creditor has a duty, because they are an officer to the court, to make sure that all the documents that are provided to them are accurate. But here's the catcher. Here's the little catcher with that. Is that they only really pay attention to doing that when they are challenged. Because if most people don't know what to say, most people don't know what to do, most people go into court and just talk about the debt amount, about what you're going to do about the debt amount, and never know that they can actually challenge that plaintiff attorney on the documents that they submitted as an officer of the court. Did they do their due diligence to make sure that their client was telling them 100% the truth? That they do their due diligence to make sure that all of the documents that their client provided to them were 100% verified, authentic, numbers added up, all of that stuff? Did they do that? If they didn't do it, even with an original creditor, the attorney that is representing them will dismiss the case based off of what they presented not being accurate. Next thing, let's talk about garnishments. And that also goes on if you need to have a case reopened. And I will talk about that in a minute on how we can help you with that. The next thing, let's talk about garnishments. If you have a garnishment, here are the different scenarios that we've instructed people to do. Because if you're already struggling financially, we don't usually get involved with garnishments. We just give you the information. You'll do a consultation with us. We'll do the research, and we will tell you the options that are available to you. You need to look for exemptions. Look for the exemptions. And also, something that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually call these debt collection attorneys and that have garnishments orders against you, and you can negotiate on the payments. A lot of people don't know that you can do that. If you can show that it is making you go through a severe hardship, you can get them to reduce the garnishment, either for good or to reduce it over a period of time to give you some relief to allow you to reset your finances. You can do that. Other options for the garnishment is if you have exemptions and you didn't know about the exemptions, you're allowed to use them. Exemptions like you're a veteran, exemptions retired, exemptions on Social Security, SSI, railroad retiree. There's certain exemptions that are available to you. Now, if you live in a state where they cannot garnish you, yes, you have that luxury. But the thing that you got to watch out for, which is why a lot of clients end up coming to us for help, is that they can actually garnish your bank account. They can take all of the money out of your bank account, and because they have that order. And the bank, every time money goes in there, they will just send it right over to them. You won't even be able to do anything. You won't even be able to take money out of your own account. If they freeze it, you won't be able to take any money out of your account. If they garnish it, they're going to take money out of the account first and give it to the debt collector, depending on the writ of garnishment that they gave to the bank. Now, here are the solutions that you can utilize if you're getting your bank account either frozen or garnished, is that they have to allow you to have money to be able to live. So what you could do is you have to go. It takes some work. It takes some work, and it's straight line. Take some work. You got to file documents with the court, have it reopened, and they will put money back into your account. It could take a little bit of time, but it usually can happen pretty quick if you can get your documents into the court, and they will put some money back in there for you to be able to live on. Um, if not all of it, some of the times people some of the times people have exemption that don't require them to put all of the money back. If you are married and the writ of garnishment was just in one of the spouse's name, they can only take 50% of the money, and then you can still utilize that same exemption or that same strategy that I just told you, where you can get some of your money back for living expenses. They may have you fill out a worksheet. That's fine, because the main goal is to get that money back into your bank account so you can utilize it for your household expenses and the things that you need for your family. So that is an option that's available if your account is either being frozen or if it's being garnished. Most of the time when it's being frozen, where the money is still there but nothing is being done, that usually happens when there was a default judgment. A lot of the judges do not feel good about doing an outright garnishment and where the debt collector can take the money. What they'll do is freeze it, have a hearing. You better show up to that hearing, because if you don't show up to that hearing, it's going to be likely that the judge is going to go ahead and allow them to garnish the money out of your bank account. So let's talk about what we could do here at the Credit Repair Shop. I think I've given you great information, and I think that I deserve the opportunity to be able to give you some options to work with us, and also some options to be able to help yourself. So let's start with number one. If you have debt collectors coming after you early, I want you to grab my 3-pack of letters: statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, cease and desist collection activities letter. Use the one that's appropriate for your situation. I do ask for a donation with those. That's just a donation, and I really do appreciate the donations. Help me monetize the time here on YouTube. YouTube don't pay like they claim, so it helps me monetize the time here to make these videos. This video is almost 30 minutes, so you can see I've taken out 30 minutes of the time to make sure that you get some good information to be able to help yourself with credit repair and getting out of debt. Grab those letters. Link is below this video. If you have debt collectors that are trying to sue you, I have a link below this video. Go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, thecreditrepairshop.com. Go to the live chat, upload the court summons. If you want to get this, expedite this, get that summons in our hands so we can review it, let you know the options that are available to you. And we're going to give you options based on experience, not based on guessing. The next thing is, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Link is below here. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation, credit repair process, and my 2-phase settlement, debt collector or original creditor settlement process. We help you with those. It's 2 different services. Depending on your situation, we can help you with either one of those. Links are below this video. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.